Hey everyone, welcome back to Conejo Valley Visionaries, a weekly podcast spotlighting the people and stories behind your favorite Conejo Valley businesses. I'm your host, Christina Denstead. Today, I speak with another Conejo Valley champion, Lana Bluth, who is the publisher behind Vientos Living and Westlake Village Living, where she helps share out local community stories with the niche communities that she services. Wow, this was an emotional one for me. She talks about how she was a stay-at-home mom and that was her childhood dream, to then going through a divorce and really having to learn how to provide for herself and the path that set her on. And now she runs these two magazines, which she is extremely dedicated to and connected to in the Conejo Valley. And I think you're really going to enjoy this one. So with that, please enjoy Lana Bluth from Best Version Media. If you enjoy this episode and find value in the podcast, please leave us a 5-star review and rating. This helps more people find the podcast, and therefore each story can reach more folks in the Conejo Valley. Hey, Lana. Welcome to Conejo Valley Visionaries. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course. I cannot wait to hear your story. We've been able to touch a little bit about it off air, but I'm thrilled to be able to share it with you, with the audience today. So what I like to do on the podcast is always go back to the beginning. What did you want to be when you grew up?
Gosh, it was I wanted to be everything, but first I wanted to be the first female professional soccer player, but that didn't last very long. And then I have a love for fashion and clothing. So I wanted to go into like merchandising and all of that. But ultimately, I really wanted to be a mom and a stay-at-home mom. So that's what I ended up doing.
Did you were you an athlete as a kid, or I'm assuming if you wanted to play soccer, did you sort of go down that route a little bit?
I did. I mean, I played soccer for a while, and then that fizzled out when there was just like, not to say that I'm lazy or anything, too much running. I was not built for running. So when it got to a real competitive level, I switched to volleyball. And then when I did not make the varsity team and my ego was involved, I decided to quit and get a job. So I've been working since I was 16. I worked at actually, I think it was called Oak Tree Agora, but now it's the Agora Deli. And then Oak Tree West in Westlake, that's now BJ's. So,
Okay,
yep.
so you were born and raised out here.
I was born in Van Nuys and I moved to Agora in 6th grade. So I've been in the Conejo Valley for over 40 years, if you want to do the math. There you go.
And incredible that you've had this connection to local businesses for that long as well, which we will get into in a minute as to where you are right now. But so you were working in local businesses, restaurant, sort of food service type places, but you also had this passion for fashion. Did you end up pursuing that at all before becoming a mom?
Yeah, when I graduated high school, I then worked at Nordstrom and I started in Brass Plum and worked my way to different departments. I don't even think they exist anymore, individualist and gallery. And by the time I was 22, I was managing one of the departments. And then I got pregnant at 23 and that kind of shifted everything. So.
And you said you wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, which I love, and I appreciate that, like, when people share that too. Was it what you dreamed of at age 23, kind of settling down into that?
It was. I mean, I come from a long line of women that are stay-at-home moms. And so I was kind of like born and raised for that to be the ultimate goal. And it was the favorite time, my most favorite time of my life. And I'm so incredibly fortunate and grateful that I was able to be a stay-at-home mom. I know that's not always possible, but yeah, I loved it. I loved raising my kids on Zuma Beach and shuttling them around everywhere. I'm not good with my hand. I know this is silly. When you have 3 kids, you do have your hand in a lot of pots, but I definitely look at working moms and I don't know how they do it. I have an admiration for them of being so incredibly organized and successful, and organization is not one of my skill sets. So, yeah.
Well, and I mean, it's interesting. I think that like I really, gosh, value and appreciate my friends who are stay-at-home moms. I don't think I could do it. It's almost like my brain needs the distraction of something else because truly when you're at home, and especially with three kids, like being able to entertain them and deal with, I don't know, tantrums and all of that stuff on a full-time basis is something really special. Is there, was there a moment in which like really sticks out, uh in terms of that like time of your life that is a core memory that you wouldn't give up?
Like I said, the ocean is a big part of my life, and we're so fortunate to just be right over, on the other side of the canyon. My favorite time, and it still is summer, because of the time where I wasn't getting kids to school, we weren't doing homework. There was this sense of freedom, but the second school got out, I would pack my Suburban with chairs, beach toys, boogie boards, everything that you need. Even when my kids were little, I would take a blow up pool and blow it up to keep like the little ones away from the ocean. They could just play right by my feet. Um, and until school started, I kept everything. I never unloaded my car unless it was like towels that needed to be washed or food that needed to be put away. But and then taking all of my kids' friends, and we would go with, gosh, my church had a beach day. My kids were there with like 30 or 40 kids, any given day of the week.
That
So,
sounds magical. I love that. And it is so incredible that it's just, a 30-minute drive to get to Zuma
yeah.
and really it's a whole different world. And it sounds like I know you just said you aren't organized, but in order to do that and coordinate with kids and all of the things, I mean, that requires a certain level of organization.
Well, I appreciate that. You just kind of get it down. I boil hot dogs and put them in a thermos, and my kids would have hot dogs at the beach. You get into your routine. And then, of course, when they got older and, um, you just make a stop at Italia Deli on the way. I went to Agora High School. So Italia Deli is like it just feels good. Not only does it taste good, but it feels good. So.
Yeah, I know we interviewed Marissa, gosh, a couple months ago, and she's amazing in that business, Italia Deli. That the fact that so many locals have a core memory of that, picking up
Yes,
the sub on the way to the beach is amazing.
yes, yes.
So tell me, okay, so now in your life, you are the publisher of Best Version Media.
That's the company I work with. I
Yes.
publish it's called Westlake Village Living and Dos Vientos Living. They're private publications for those communities.
For the publisher. So tell me, at what point were you always sort of fascinated with the publishing world or with magazines, or you go from being a stay-at-home mom to now publishing two magazines? I know we're jumping a large amount of time, but tell us that path and like how did you get into this line of business?
Well, everything in my life kind of ignorantly planned out the way I thought it would until it didn't. And after being married for 25 years, I ended up getting a divorce. I had not worked outside of the home since I was 23 and had my first child. And all of the sudden, I'm getting a divorce. And I've never even filled out a resume. Quite frankly, I've never even filled out a resume to this day. Um, and everything was just so incredibly overwhelming. What I thought my life was going to be shifted. And now I had to figure out a way to take care of myself. And, I went to college, but I didn't graduate. I got married super young and we kind of pursued his career. And so when I got divorced, I was so incredibly overwhelmed and did not know what I was going to do. Realized that what was I going to put on a resume if I had to do that? And so I drove Uber and it was very humbling. And I didn't drive Uber in town because I didn't want to pick up any of my kids' friends or maybe my ex's partners or anything like that. So I drove out of town. But I have to say, it sort of saved my life. It forced me out of the house. I'm pretty chatty, so I I, you know, Uber therapied, I Uber dated, Uber all these different things. I was invited to girls' dinners when I was driving them, all these things. But then I realized that's not going to cut it. Like, that's not going to pay the bills. So then I fortunately was referred by a friend to rep a skincare line and didn't know the first thing about that. And it was kind of a sink or swim situation. I met with the regional manager and she just threw me on a floor and I kind of just learned by jumping in. It was humiliating. Again, I swear I would never do it. And then ultimately ended up repping like 5 or 6 different skincare and hair care companies, um, which again, I loved, but I didn't build relationships. I mean, people, when they're not feeling good about themselves, they buy a lipstick or they want a moisturizer or something. So I really got to connect with them at the locations, but then they were gone. I also realized I wasn't going to climb a corporate ladder. That just wasn't my thing. I am officially a beauty school dropout.
Okay.
I went to, I think maybe a week and a half of beauty school in Simi Valley and definitely felt like this was not my place. Everyone's very young on a different path. And again, a little bit of an ego involved. But then I got a phone call to run away to Bali with a friend to a yoga retreat. So I booked it while I was in class. And 10 days later, I was on a plane to Bali. So that was amazing. Um, and then ultimately, the magazine just fell into my lap. I have a friend who I used to drive to school because I was the older sister. So I drove everyone in the neighborhood to Agora High School. She lives in Dos Vientos and she started the magazine. And we were both going through divorces and she needed something different. I was looking for something different. And that was it. It just within a day, everything shifted. So kind of like everything that's been happening in my life since my divorce.
I mean, I just have to really commend you for being so, I don't know, vulnerable and sharing all of that. It's really like it honestly brings tears to my eyes because as I've shared before, I also have going through a divorce and it really is an opportunity to either like stay on the same path or completely shift your life. And it sounds like, and it also is a very humbling experience.
Very.
And to be able to like sit in that and like admit it and like but know that you have to provide for yourself and your family and take the opportunities that you can is really amazing because not everybody does that. So like kudos for doing the thing that you had to do and to then find yourself in this current situation is incredible.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, a lot of it is just you don't have a choice, right? I didn't want my kids to think I was just sitting around waiting for spousal support or whatever. And then I also like to do things.
Yeah.
So you just go where the universe pushes you.
Right. And it sounds also, though, like relationships are an important part of your success too, whether it be driving Uber and building those friendships or relationships there, but then also as it turns into the magazine. So your friend was started Dos Vientos magazine underneath this umbrella publishing company, and then
Yes.
you were able to come in and help support. What were your first kind of role within the magazine when you first started?
Well, again, you just kind of jump in with both feet. And I didn't come from a marketing world. I barely came from any world. I mean, I could be a room mom and I could throw an amazing soccer party, but for this was nothing, but it actually made sense to me. I love people. I just love people. I love people's stories. I think there's a lot of, we connect. We're I'm not the only one that's gone through a divorce. I'm not the only one that's had kids. Like there's a lot of similarities that people can connect on. And and so fortunately, a lot of people in the company start from scratch. I was fortunate to have this friend that had done it. And so she was able to take me under her wing and kind of show me the presentation and how she went about it. But what I love about it is the connections. I love the Conejo Valley. It's what I know. It makes sense to me because one, we have multiple platforms, but one, the foundation is the private publication for the magazine. And just like this, and what you're doing, we connect with stories. And even talking about Italia Deli and the feeling that evokes when I walk in there, I'm on the way to the beach, or grab one to take on the plane. Like, it just is a good feeling. And so that's what the publication is. It's the community's stories, but it's also the business owners' stories, the businesses that want to sponsor the community and build relationships. I share their stories. And then on maybe like a homeowner or a resident side of things, I understand what I just want to shout everyone from the rooftop. So if I find a restaurant that I like, or there's a plumber in your driveway, all your neighbors want to know, did you like that plumber? And then generally speaking, they're having the same issues. So it's really kind of what I was doing before as a community member. And now it's what I'm doing for a living.
So how would you describe Dos Vientos living? And then I guess Westlake Village as well.
Well, the platform's the same for both communities. With the magazine, we always put a family on the cover from each community. So not putting a Newbury Park family on my Westlake Village cover and vice versa. Living in this community for over 40 years, I understand that it's literally like 2 or 3 degrees of separation. And everyone's a little bit nosy. So when you put someone from your community on the cover and then do a feature story on them, you just naturally want to open it and read it. If you don't know them, you want to open it and read it because you know they live in your community. You're possibly dropping your kids off at school. You play baseball together. And then the readers are the writers. So it's their fall festivals. I highlight their athletes. And then as far as like my businesses, I share the stories of these businesses. And then there's an opportunity for businesses to educate the community on what they're doing. Like, I was listening to some of your podcasts, and there's just different things about pelvic floor therapy and wellness that people don't know. So I love content marketing.
Yeah.
And I love the close community connection. So
Yeah, it's interesting because when we connected, it is really interesting, the sort of synergies about what we're doing, which is this like deep love for helping share what makes the Conejo Valley so special. And you're even more niche, like these specific neighborhoods and what is so makes the people in them so incredible, and helping share those stories. And I love that idea that like on a cover of a magazine, your neighbor, like you'd find your neighbor on the cover of the magazine versus a celebrity. And why can't they also be like local known people as well? So it's really amazing that you guys are doing that, and that like print it's like a sort of evolving world, and to still be able to have like a physical printed copy of something is pretty amazing.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much noise in this world. And when we're on our phones, we're just being bombarded with information. I'm a magazine girl. Like, I love paper. I read books. I write everything down. And I dislike the fact that you walk into one room. Well, maybe this just shows my age, but you walk in one room and you can't remember why you're there. Like,
Yeah.
there's just so many things going on in our heads. So for me, it's like a luxury to sit down. If I get my Free People magazine or Anthropology, like, I want to sit down and just look at it. And I know the homeowners appreciate it. We had in Dos Vientos, I highlighted an original homeowner who happened to be the oldest homeowner. We celebrated her 89th birthday on the April cover of this year, and was planning on celebrating her 90th birthday, but unfortunately she passed away just last week. And the family, in less than 24 hours, contacted me to tell me how much it meant to them that we featured her, did photos of all of her grandkids, her sons. And it was something that they wanted to get be able to have access to the photos and the article so they could do it at her, share it at her service. So it's more than just making money for me. It's, I mean, that's definitely a benefit, of course, but it's knowing that what I'm doing is impacting people,
Yeah.
and the community that I love.
No, it's pretty incredible, and I love that story and how special that they had the opportunity to share that prior to her passing. Is there something from your, I sort of I love again that you are so honest that you've never had a resume and that you still don't have one and that you like what would you even put on it? But you have had this previous work experience. Is there anything from those days of driving Uber or repping a skincare brand that you now use in this current role?
When you're in sales and you're running your own business, it's a lot of pressure and I'm asking people to spend money. So I don't always get the most receptive um, feedback, but fortunately it doesn't affect like it's not about me. I understand that. Um, and actually, when I was going through my divorce, I had what I never knew was a panic attack. It was the first time I ever experienced it. I was actually at Agora Power of Yoga. So just to like name some local
Yeah.
places. and,
That-
and I was in the back of the room and all I wanted to do was run and leave. And it was so incredibly uncomfortable, but I also didn't want to disrupt the whole class and roll up my mat and climb over people. And so I was forced to stick to it. I mean, I just laid there. I didn't do the moves or anything, the poses, but by the time the class was over, it had passed. And
Mm,
so I apply that to really everything in my life. You have good days, you have bad days, you have good months, you have bad months, especially, when it comes to business. And so I just constantly remember that moment of if you just hold on long enough, it will pass. And then also, my favorite word is providence. I have to let a lot of it go. For me, I'm religious. So for me, it's God, but I just believe I'm in the constant care of God and, universe, whatever you want to call it, that I am being guided and put exactly where I'm supposed to be at the exact right time. And that takes a lot of pressure off of me. So,
that's really special. It's interesting with yoga too, this idea of like it really teaches you tools to like move through it. And I think that sort of idea does, I've heard that from several entrepreneurs, is this you have to keep going. So whether it's dealing with a divorce or running
right,
your own business or children, you can't just stop. There is a sense that
right.
like you can like allow it to happen, but you have to be able to sort of understand that the next moment, the next day will be a different opportunity.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I know. It's hard. It's hard when you're in it.
Yes.
Um, but you always get to the other side and hindsight's 2020, right? Like it's amazing.
So, okay, you mentioned again, going back to this self awareness that you said you're not very organized, but you are running your own business. There's like inherently, again, you have to have this level of organization. Have you found any tools that help you do that? Is it the team around you? Or is it organized chaos?
It's a little bit of organized chaos. Kind of relating to like what I do too, I use in my regular life. So I do marketing, right? And it's about being seen. And in addition to the magazine, we also have digital platforms. We help people be found easier online. And I can't think of how many times in my life I'm like, yeah, I need to make a doctor's appointment. And then I go work out and my knee hurts. And then I'm like, yeah, I need to make the doctor's appointment. And then you come home, you start doing your stuff and you forget. So I need constant reminders. My camera roll is a hot mess. Like it is pictures of stories that I want to share that I see going on in the community, businesses I want to contact, and then people I need to call, all this stuff. So I kind of just scroll through my phone and that's my visual um, tool to kind of keep me on track. And then sending myself my own emails
Yeah.
because it's like out of sight, out of mind. Um, so
Yeah. I feel
There's
like
a lot of touch points. I have about a million pieces of paper in my office that I figure eventually I'll come across and remember. So,
that's
yeah.
amazing. How do you go about finding the businesses that you feature or that you partner with for their online presence?
Some of it is when I first started, it was very organic, like businesses that I personally liked. And then as it's evolved, I'm now doing a lot of prospecting of like businesses that are already advertising, businesses that I think have a lot to share from um, just lack of information that I have. Like there's a new OCD anxiety center that just opened. I'm part of the chamber, so I try to like find what businesses are coming in the community and learn about them. But I don't think any of us don't know someone. Did I say that properly? Don't know someone that has deals with OCD or anxiety. And now we have this facility in Westlake Village. And because I do content marketing, it's I would love for them to gain exposure in the community, but also educate. So um, it's about seeing where the posts are online, who's paying for sponsored ads already, who's in the acorn, but also businesses, even like Tarantula Hill or Breakers, they have events. Like there's so many things. And being a longtime resident of the Conejo Valley, I can't tell you how many times I've sat on my couch going, what should we do tonight? And there's a lot of things going on. So I kind of seek out those too, just for my own, like what I would want to see.
Yeah.
But then also businesses that believe in marketing and gaining exposure, and try and contact those and just share what I do and see if it's something they feel would benefit their business.
What's it like running this business in the Conejo Valley? Do you like what's the community like?
Well, the community is amazing. I'm familiar with it. I understand the culture and the people and the demographic. And I always tell my clients that I'm not someone from Texas or Tennessee that's trying to help you market in your community. Like I know who the homeowners are in these communities and what their lifestyles kind of look like. And the connection. Like once people, I will say, there's a tough exterior. People are very busy, they're running their businesses. Not a lot of people understand marketing. You've got great plumbers, HVAC companies that know exactly what their skill set is and they're doing and they're great, but no one's really taught them how to gain exposure. So that's kind of the obstacle. A is getting people to answer the phone and be responsive. B is educating them on the best way to brand their business and gain exposure. But what I have found is once I do build those relationships, because I come from a Nordstrom mentality, like we had to wear hose, nylons. But I mean, yeah, okay, I'll date myself again. But like we had to wear nylons. I drove to people's homes to take off the security tags if they were left. Like we didn't ask them to come back to the store.
Right.
It was very customer service. I always want to share everything I can about the client. Like again, it's that connection. So I feel like once I make the relationship, things are fairly smooth, but getting there is tough. We live in a fast paced community,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
And no matter, I mean, I think the like persistence it takes to sort of break through that initial hesitation, I'm sure, it's usually not a one-time phone call or message. It's got to take a little bit of time.
Well, and sometimes I get in my head, I can look at a business that I've taken a photo of and I'll be like, are they really going to like what I want? Do they have a budget? Like I start making up these stories in my head. I only have one, but in my head. And I have to get past that. You just got to make the dials.
Yeah.
It's
What surprised you the most? I mean, I guess let me ask you, do you consider this running your own business?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I have I mean, it's very autonomous, right? So we service over 1,300 communities in all of North America. We're also in Canada as well. But in this area, there's really only one other publisher that's within 15, 20 miles of myself. Um, and we are resources for each other, but I I make phone calls in an office by myself. And I have a team. I have a photographer and a content coordinator and a designer, and they're amazing. The culture of the company is really what keeps you going. They are here to help you be successful. But, they can only do so much. If you're not reaching out for the resources, you're kind of on your own. Um, and I love that, but it's also has its tough, it's good and bad thing. I can babysit my grandchildren on Thursdays and no one's giving me a hard time. I can work out at 9:30 in the morning because I'm not a morning person and start my day a little bit later and work a little bit. Like I get to run my own business and I kind of manage the content too.
What surprised you the most about running your own business?
I think, gosh, I never, like I said, I was supposed to be a stay-at-home mom forever and then a stay-at-home grandma and
So everything
running.
surprised you.
Yeah. So this was not anything that I ever thought about. I think um, what surprised me the most, and I guess I don't have a lot of choices, right? Like I don't have a resume. I'm not going to find anything that I love as much as I do with the freedom and the opportunity to continue to grow my business. But I think that the hard part is it's always on my mind, even driving to the gym, even when going to bed at night. It's like, oh, dang, I've got to call that person, or it never goes away. But I will say, I do let go during the weekends. And when you're a stay at home mom, it's 24/7, 7 days a week. So this is like a vacation for me. And like, I get a weekend. That's amazing
I love that perspective. What are you most proud of?
that I did it,
Mm.
that I didn't die from my divorce because I thought I would. And I really was like in the fetal position telling myself, I don't know anyone who's died from divorce. That was literally like a mantra of mine.
Yeah.
Um, and that I'm gritty, that I I did drive Uber. Like it's not something that you shout from the rooftops, but I could literally say Uber saved my life because it got me out of the house. And I feel very grateful and blessed that I was put on a path that honestly I wasn't smart enough to do. Like good people are in my life and I have good friends and they just they were there. They showed up. And, someone from church has been trying to recruit me for skincare for 15 years. And I was like, no, I'm a stay at home mom. And now all of a sudden that evolved into that. And honestly, just having relationships.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just that I did it. I can pay my bills. I can go on vacation. That's
Right.
exciting.
Man, I'm like getting emotional because I'm in that stage right now where I have to remind myself nobody dies from divorce. So I appreciate that
Oh, I know.
inspiration. And I hope nobody has to go through a hard one. But like if they are and they're going through it, like can learn from you and know that like it's not easy, but you get through
No,
the other side.
it's not. And you're killing it. Look at you. Look, you look beautiful. Like that's
I'll take that as a win for right now.
yeah, it is. No, and you too. Like we were talking prior to this, like you just had an idea and you ran with it. Like half the battle's just moving,
Yes.
you
It's
know?
no, it's true. It's really just like not sitting on it but moving. But when as you've experienced when you're going through something that takes so much of your brain power and your emotional energy and all that, plus being a parent, it's hard to move. So, again, I really
Oh
applaud you
yeah.
for making those moves and ones that probably felt uncomfortable in the moment to do, but they got you through and it's pretty amazing. What's your vision for your business, for the magazines, for your career?
Um, they're small magazines and we keep them that way because we again have we just have so much information. Um, we have the attention span of a goldfish. So to deliver 100-page or, magazine, a lot of people would just discard because it's too overwhelming. My goal is to grow the magazine. I want it to become larger. I want to establish myself as a brand. I've joined the chamber. I'm doing this podcast with you, which is, well, I'm incredibly chatty, way outside of my comfort zone. And I was
You're
raised,
excellent at it, by the way. You are
gosh, thank you.
obviously a storyteller.
I was raised to be humble. And so to put myself out there um, and develop myself as a brand, I want people to know that I'm your biggest cheerleader. I'm here to connect you with valuable homeowners, but also more than that, like I'm a resource. If you don't know what you're doing, marketing is a pain in the butt. It's a lot of things we don't understand. And I have the resources and like a digital team that will help you with all of that. Like, I don't want my businesses to have to think about marketing. I want to take care of that for them so they can run their businesses. But I think I just want to be thought of as kind and a connector for genuine reasons, you know?
Yeah, I love that. If somebody wanted to work with you, how do they reach out? So there's Westlake Village Living, Dos Vientos Living. So it's sort of like if you're in those neighborhoods, that's how you
Yeah.
participate.
I always ask my businesses, like, is this an important community for you? And then we go from there. My cell phone's for everyone to reach out. Email, but yeah, even if it's just a conversation of what the best, and that's the other thing is I don't have a rate sheet. I customize everything for each individual client. And then on the flip side, if there are any people in the community, Westlake Village or Dos Vientos, that have a short story, that if they're residents and they want to share that their son got an academic like award, or there's a story, we did a story on a kid that was a runner and he broke both his ankles and had to pivot to swimming. Like, we want to tell all the good stories. So,
Right.
yeah.
So it's not just business focus. It's truly
Yeah.
like what is happening around you and
Yeah.
celebrating those like individual wins.
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Okay. I
Yeah.
have a couple of rapid fire questions for you.
Oh gosh.
I
Okay.
know. Okay. But I know you're tapped in. So what is your favorite restaurant in the Conejo Valley?
Okay. So there's a certain few go-tos. I always need a wood ranch. Um, Obviously Italia Deli. They're all like for different situations. My lunch go-to is Mixtape in the Neighborly. They make the best gluten-free chicken sandwich.
That's my family's favorite. My kids are obsessed. We have it probably once a week.
Yeah. Yeah. Marcello's Italian
I've never been.
is it's across from it's where like near Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay.
It's been there forever and there's new owners. I've actually become friends with the owner. He's one of my clients, but it's just really great. And again, feeling like I was going there 25 years ago. Now it's kind of reinvented itself. So I think those would be the ones that come off the top of my head.
Okay. Do you have I always curious too, a favorite coffee shop? Do you drink coffee? You're like a tea
Yeah,
latte.
yeah.
Okay.
There's a new coffee shop in the Target shopping center called Hi Bye.
Mm,
And they also have gluten-free like pastries, and they're just so nice. They're nice.
okay. I'm
You
gonna check
feel
them out.
good when you're there. So,
Okay. I haven't been to that one yet either. What's your favorite thing to do out here in the Conejo Valley?
well, definitely, I know it's not considered the Conejo Valley, but go to the beach anytime. Like just swimming in the ocean. I still swim in the ocean. It's cold, but it has never stopped me. But in town, I love a good staycation at the Westlake Village Inn. And I am a massive people watcher. So just going to Stonehouse and getting a pizza and meeting up with some friends. And you always, when you've been in the community as long as I have, you always run into someone you know. So, um, but it's always fun. It's easy. It's casual.
Yeah.
So,
And I love it when they have the live music, the guitar
yes,
player.
that
It's a
too.
great addition, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, lastly, what's one piece of advice you would offer to a first-time entrepreneur?
Um, well, it's kind of a lame saying, but it gets me through things is how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I tend to be like everything's big. My hair's big. I'm 5'9". Like my voice is loud. Like everything's big in my world. And I can shut down because of it. So if I just think of like, even if it's just putting 3 things on your list to accomplish today, then you don't, at least for myself, I don't feel like a loser if I'm not accomplishing 20 things, but I got the 3 things. So baby bites to get to the goal, and then somehow you just keep moving. So, yeah.
I love it. Great piece of advice. Thank you so much, Lana, for connecting with me. Thank you for sharing the stories of the community and being such a champion for the Conejo Valley. I know that you're making a real impact out here.
Well, thank you. I love what I do, and I think that's half the battle, right?
Thank you for listening to Conejo Valley Visionaries. If you like today's episode, make sure to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. And don't forget to rate and review us. That's the best way to support the podcast. To enter our giveaways, learn about local events, and to find out more about each guest, follow at Conejo Valley Visionaries on Instagram. If you want to share your visionary story on the podcast, send us an email. We are always open to guest nominations. Email ConejoValleyVisionaries@gmail.com. This episode was produced by Christina Denstead and Justin K. Sloan. Conejo Valley Visionaries is edited by Justin K. Sloan and J. Sloan Productions.